Hi, unfortunately I did this a second time because the video went into Facebook land and it got lost. I'm here to talk to you today informally about the IG memo, the Inspector General memo coming out about the Hillary Clinton investigation. It's going to be a bombshell report. I was very happy to be able to talk about it on Fox and Friends First this morning with my friends. Guys, I like what the Inspector General is doing here, and I'll tell you why. As a chief law enforcement officer of a prosecutor's office, we have a lot of power. We have to remember in our government that civil authorities are the ones who oversee what it is that guns and badges do. This was from all the way back to the founding fathers so that we didn't have a militaristic kind of government. So whether it's police internal affairs or whether it's the Inspector General with regard to the Clinton investigation, I have no issues whatsoever with respect to them monitoring them, make sure they're acting properly. Look, the Inspector General has done a great job so far. He has already come out with allegations that McCabe, who was working with the FBI very closely with Comey on the Clinton investigation, actually leaked information, and that wasn't so bad. It's bad enough. Wasn't so bad, but he lied to federal investigators about it. So the Inspector General referred it for a criminal investigation at the Department of Justice. Let's understand what the Investigator General powers are and aren't. They're basically an investigative authority. They have no charging power. They look at policies, procedures of the DOJ and the FBI in this case to see if they were followed or not. And then if they think criminality has occurred, they make a referral to DOJ. And it's obviously a much more difficult process for them, the DOJ, to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt to 12 jurors. Nevertheless, the Inspector General report with regard to their findings is considered highly relevant in monitoring the agencies. So we're going to be looking at Comey. I think he's at greatest risk here. This is what I was saying on Fox today. He is the one that gave the press conference about Hillary Clinton being exonerated, then gave another press conference indicating that she was going to be reinvestigated, then gave another press conference saying that she was no longer under investigation right before the election. I was shocked at this happening because not usually, pursuant to policy, it is the prosecutor, the Department of Justice that should have been giving that press conference. But Comey bypassed that process, stating that because of the tarmac meeting with Loretta Lynch, who was the U.S. attorney, that he had no confidence in giving that information to the DOJ because it would look bad in the public eye. Sorry, two wrongs don't make a right. It was not his decision it was not his authority to make that press conference. And then to add insult to injury, as a prosecutor, I could tell you this myself, we have ethics rules. You may say that you're not going to investigate, or there is no investigation, or the investigation is completed, or the investigation has led to charges, but you never impugn the character and integrity of a person that is not related to criminal law. And that's what he did with Ms. Clinton when he said that she was extremely reckless, grossly negligent, whatever the term was. We're arguing over that term. To me, it's meaningless. The bottom line is he shouldn't have been making that commentary at all. The bottom line is he shouldn't even been up there in the first place discussing an investigation. That was the responsibility of the Attorney General. Let's look at her. The tarmac meeting with Bill Clinton, where she was in an airplane for a considerable period of time and claims they only passed pleasantries. Hey, listen, folks, I know you can get in difficult positions and they're uncomfortable positions, but I investigated political corruption cases. I've encountered defendants who are under investigation or being prosecuted by my office, and there's a very simple thing that you can do. Like I always say, you don't need to go to law school. You don't need to be a brain surgeon. You don't need to have an education. You don't have to be that smart. In fact, you don't even have to be over the age of 18 to know what to do when you're in a bad encounter with a person you don't want to be with. You turn around and leave. You walk off. You end it. But she didn't. So this is the reason Comey says he gave this press conference on Clinton, is because he was agitated about the fact that their reputation was besmirched because of what Loretta Lynch had done on the tarmac with Bill Clinton. Now, both things, two wrongs don't make a right here. So I think Comey's going to get nicked by the Inspector General for violating DOJ policy. It'll probably come under the charge of insubordination. That is, did not follow the protocol to defer to his superior, the Department of Justice. We already know what happened with McCabe. There's other issues of individuals who are probably going to get nicked in this as well. And the bottom line to why I like this is, you probably know me. Even though I was a prosecutor, I was a civil rights litigator. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the fact that we are not perfect. We are not impervious to being managed, manipulated, being pressured, or what have you. Hope you can hold the line with those things, but I guess some people can. And that's where the Inspector General is the civilian authority over even those most powerful people that have such discretion to affect and change people's lives. So I've always welcomed it, whether it be internal affairs for police agencies, or whether it be the Inspector General here and Congress's oversight. It's very important to maintain the integrity of these institutions. I just wish that a little guy could get a break every now and again when law enforcement officers do something that's not appropriate, or prosecutorial agencies are going too far, because this does happen, and it happens with more frequency than I'd care to believe. Now, I am an overwhelming supporter of law enforcement. Anyone that knows me knows that. But there are bad apples in everything we do. And sometimes it's not even bad apples. Sometimes you get put between a rock and a hard place and you have to make a difficult judgment call. And sometimes you don't make the right call. So the Inspector General is crucial to maintaining the integrity of the institution. So in a certain odd way, even though that institution has been beaten up, it's actually working. Now, I don't know what the Inspector General report's going to say, but I'm going to believe that I'm going to at least be half right, that there is going to be procedures and policies that Loretta Lynch, Comey, McCabe, Page, and Strzok, the boyfriend, girlfriend, have violated, because whenever you're intersecting prosecution with politics, you have to be especially careful as a prosecutor or a law enforcement officer that you are not using your authority of your office to influence the outcome of an election, even if that's not your intention. That's why the DOJ and I, as the county prosecutor, did not allow outwardly investigations of political figures that were running for office to occur 90 days prior to the election, because I did not want to be used or have somebody use this agency or be accused of influencing the election one way or the other. Listen, after the election, we can take care of our business. There's a reason why we have that policy. What Comey did by going out there and rebuking Clinton when his job, first of all, he shouldn't have even been out there, number one. Number two, if you're going to go out there, you talk about criminal law and criminal law only. That's what the ethics rules say and the DOJ policy. To then sit there and criticize her for something that he was not charging her with was a big no-no. And then they have to go back two more times to clarify his investigative decision. One of those times a week before the election, inappropriately influenced the election. I'm not saying it changed the outcome. And I don't care if this is Trump or Clinton or whatever. This kind of thing's got to stop. And I think the Inspector General knows that. And I think that we're going to see some rebuking of the conduct that occurred here. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means they handled this poorly. What are your thoughts? It'll be coming out pretty soon. I think I'm going to be about half right. And thanks to Fox and Friends First for having me on to discuss the topic. I'm sure I'll be on some of the other media outlets as well. And thank you all for watching me from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. Bianchi Law Talk Sunday, 10:30. We'll be back if I don't have another video about something else. Now, I'm tired. It was very early getting into Fox and Friends. I just may take a nap. Take care.